Welcome to Sports Leadership Topic 2D Part 8, where we continue talking about shared leadership. Jackson and Parry also have some common concerns over the concentration of power, that there are a number of leadership styles that have this issue. Shared leadership is a way of dealing with that, but you have to be very, very careful about how that power is manifested. There's often a dissatisfaction with hierarchy, that it's seen as being top down, and it's very, very difficult to actually drive things up the organisation. Leaderful or leaderless organisations tend to highlight roles and the influence of followers, but again they're very difficult to implement. But in sports organisations you've probably got more chance of doing that well than in other organisations, because of the, I guess, spiritual aspect of the work, that you feel like you're doing good in the community. And there is a real problem with the sustainability of the shared or distributed models over time as people change, what that does to the organisation. However, look out for shared leadership, see if you can get to grips with it. Have a look to see when or what organisations around you are using shared leadership or parts of shared leadership. Have a think about the benefits and the challenges and try it out for yourself, because if you can get it to work, it's a fantastic way of ensuring that you've got good cover in your organisation. There are some other forms of leadership, such as neutralisers, where something actually takes the leader out of play, like geographical distance. Substitutes, where you use process perhaps instead of a leader, or you have a manager for some time because there's no crisis or change in the organisation. Where you are actually empowering other people to make decisions in the place of the leader, such as somebody able to spend up to $500 to settle a customer claim without having to bump that up the organisation. Having leaders as askers of questions, which we will have a look at shortly. Having dialogue and not discussion, which we will also have a look at shortly, and promoting channel richness in communication, again, which we will also look at shortly. So leaders as askers of questions. Why ask questions? So leaders aren't the only person in the organisation having to provide the answers, or having the pressure to provide the answers. That in actual fact the leader can be the person who asks the best questions. The idea is that it creates a free flow of information, that leaders can then tap expertise within the organisation, and that people will inform the leader about their opinions, opportunities, and about issues. It also shows value for other people's opinions. The asking encourages everybody to think, to be solution oriented, to take responsibility, to self-lead and to share. And it provokes this critical thought processes within the organisation and deeper learning. It also helps avoid groupthink. And the one thing to remember is there are no dumb questions. If someone's asking a question, they want to know the answer. It creates this sort of follower-centred, developmental approach that encourages that critical thinking, expands awareness, stimulates learning, develops self-confidence and empowers followers in a really good way. And leaders are those who ask the right questions. The difference between dialogue and discussion, very quickly. You start a conversation, you may have a lack of understanding, disagreement, divergent points of view, or you're trying to evaluate other people. Where you just have discussion, you tend to state positions, you advocate convictions, you're trying to convince other people, so you're selling, and that can also mean that you build opposition. You get a short-term result. You have an argument by logic that doesn't engage hearts and soul. Opposition can get beaten down and people hold on to their mindset. Whereas with dialogue, you reveal feelings, you explore assumptions, you suspend your convictions, you build common ground, with the result that you have long-term solutions. You have a unified group, a shared meaning, and a transformed mindset. Needless to say, dialogue is how you need to discuss things for shared leadership.